this could be a whole topic that we talk quite a lot about. But the riots of 2020 and things like that, I simply do not believe should be allowed to happen. And I also don't think that they're very organic in nature. I think there's big business behind a lot of these things and big money behind a lot of these events.
In this video, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks interviews Dave Smith. The topic of discussion between Cenk Uygur and Dave Smith is Donald Trump's decision to deploy the military in Los Angeles in response to the ongoing riot. With that, let's watch Dave Smith explain to Cenk Uygur why Donald Trump has not only the right, but the duty to protect United States citizens where their state fails them.
Radical libertarian don't like the militarization, worried about the tyranny of government, etc. So are you opposed to the Marines in LA?
Well, I mean, no. I think that's a little bit different of a question. And
really?
I don't, generally speaking, I don't like the government doing anything. And I don't like our government being so militarized. I've been an opponent of the militarization of the police for many years at this point. I do think that there is, and look, this could be a whole topic that we talk quite a lot about, but the riots of 2020 and things like that, I simply do not believe should be allowed to happen. And I also don't think that they're very organic in nature. I think there's big business behind a lot of these things and big money behind a lot of these events. And listen, when protests turn violent, I think that that does need to be stopped, and whatever that takes. I'd prefer it doesn't take the military to do that, but I am not for violence in the street. I'm not for destroying people's property. I thought it was an absolute outrage in 2020 that we're society, we have this militarized police and all of this stuff, and the one time that there might be a legitimate need for it, they just stand down and allow dozens of people to be murdered and thousands to be assaulted and billions of dollars in property damage. I mean, I think it's appalling. I also think it's appalling when cops are spraying pepper spray into nonviolent protests and things like that. But I don't have much tolerance for riots.
Okay, good. So neither do I. I believe in nonviolence. We're going to talk about that in the context of the war protests in a minute. But good, because otherwise we've established that we really do disagree on other issues, right? I think the Marines in LA is an abomination, and I think you're totally wrong about that, especially as a libertarian. I think that, as you saw the 22 corporations that sponsor the military parade, our military has gotten corporatized. And so if you're worried about
I'm against the parade.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So the US military in the streets is exactly the tyranny of government that you guys were worried about. But okay, so we disagree on things. Good. Okay, now let's talk about things we agree on, right? It's called being an American. Sure. And I want everybody to know, and these days especially, I love you guys, okay? But Americans are allowed to disagree on different things and agree on others. I know it's a revolutionary thought, but we're doing a revolution here. Okay, so you and I both agree we should not go into Iran. But now, because of Donald Trump's actions, you have now flipped on Donald Trump. So you said the other day that you regret voting for Donald Trump. Do you stick by that? Do you regret it? And you said you went as far as saying impeached. You still believe that today? And why?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, at this point, look, Cenk, with a lot of these things, what do I have? I don't have.
As they were talking there, I was thinking about Cenk's character arc and how now when you see him talk, it's about agreeing to disagree and finding common ground. Well, he was a victim, as so many are on the left, of not falling in line 100% with the Democrats. And even though he'd been an important puppet for them for years of spewing their propaganda, they dropped him like a bad habit. He said so much inflammatory stuff about the right that the right doesn't want him. Now the left doesn't want him. So when I hear Cenk say things like, hey, Americans, we can agree on some things and disagree on others, I couldn't agree more. I think conversations like that are important to have, and we should have more of them. And there's too much tension and emotions that get into these conversations. But how genuine do you think it is from Cenk? He contributed to where he is right now. His old style was yell, 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 tell people they're idiots, scream at the camera, have meltdowns. He wasn't looking for common ground back then. But now that his party's rejecting him, even his progressive loser friends, and the right's never going to accept him fully, he's homeless. So now he's got to be this arbiter of peace, you know? It seems like he was forced to take on this character arc. I don't think he did it by choice. Let's get back to it.
Any power over actual government policy, but I have a little bit of an audience, and then I have an influence on some people who have audiences, and so I can have a little bit of influence on a broader conversation. And what else can you do when the president of the United States is leading us into the most disastrous policy imaginable, and I'm on record having supported the guy? What can I say other than, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, and this is terrible, and let me try in my little part to rally as many people that I can to give pushback to this, and not due to my influence, but just in a very good turn of events, and because some people have shown real integrity, and also because I think there's a certain desire amongst the people. But we've seen a lot of very influential MAGA figures really say that they will not put up with this and they will not support this. And I think that's something that should be celebrated by everybody who...
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Who is against the absolute catastrophe that a further escalating war in Iran would be. And look, it's not as if Donald Trump doesn't have to run for re-election. He does have midterms coming up, and he does need his coalition to some degree in order to get his agenda through. But the only thing that many of us can do at this point is try our best to create a situation where there will be a cost to be paid for him doing this. And so I think that it's been pretty clear. I mean, look, it's pretty remarkable. Forget me, but like figures like Tucker Carlson.
He regrets voting for Trump and thinks he should be impeached? Really? I don't agree with everything Trump does either. If he had voted for Kamala Harris, would his situation be improved right now? Pretty sure I know the answer. The president's not going to do everything the exact way you want him to do. You vote for someone that you believe you can trust and that you believe has the best interests of the country in mind. Dave Smith is a anti-war obsessed guy, and I guess you could call me that too. But I don't know what Trump's done that's so bad. The fact that he tweeted something about support of the attack, or that they knew about it, or that they handed over intelligence to Israel. I mean, we haven't fired a missile. We're not putting troops in harm's way. We're not sending, well, we are sending tons of money overseas, but we're not like funding a new war now or so. I don't know what he's so upset about. And we could even agree to disagree on those things, but going as far to say he needs to be impeached and I didn't want to vote for him now is bananas. Anyway, let's wrap it up.
And Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk are all out there right now saying, you will destroy your coalition if you do this. You will absolutely split MAGA into a civil war against each other. And so that is, if you think about it in the game of politics, you know, a huge cost to be imposed on somebody. And so right in this very prescient moment, the fact that that cost is being imposed, I think is a great thing. And if I can play any part in that, then I'm happy to do it. And also, Cenk, as something that I think me and you kind of have in common, I don't know, man, when I get on these shows and I start talking, I'm just going to say what I think is true, you know? And so, you know, I didn't even like really plan out that I was going to say on Breaking Points the other day, like, I regret supporting him and he should be impeached or whatever. It was just like, I mean, I kind of knew it might happen because that's how I felt. But then I just started talking to Sager and Crystal, and, you know, that's how I feel. And why should he?
We want to hear from you. What did you guys think about this conversation about the Israel-Iran thing between Cenk Uygur and Dave Smith? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.